Hey guys, and welcome back to the Maximilian channel, and in today's clip we're going to be taking a look at something that's been requested by a lot of you, and that is, do you pay tax on FTMO profits? How much do you pay and what could be the best option for you? Now I know that some people do mention tax in their video titles, but usually it's clickbait, and by the time you go onto the video they usually just fob you off with yeah, get an accountant, and then move on to whatever they want to say on their video. Now I hope to take you through my perspective on it and my opinion, and hopefully give you some more context rather than just saying, yeah, tax, cool, get an accountant. Now yes, of course you should get a good accountant if you are a great successful trader, and there are more reasons than one to do so. But it's always good to have a basic grasp just to help you manage your own personal finances and understand what might and might not be coming up. So as always, if you are enjoying the content, please just smash that like button, hit subscribe, and then click on the alert so you don't miss the next video when it's posted. Now needless to say, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a professional financial advisor or an accountant. This is just my opinion, my perspective, and stuff that I found out along the way. So, disclaimer, always consult a professional before making any final decisions. So, let's get to it, FTMO and the tax situ. Now there will be quite a few big points in this video, so I do implore you to watch it from start to finish, just so as you get a full rounded idea of what you could be in for. And if you want to get through it a bit quicker, you can always use that cog in the bottom right, select play speed and put it to 1.5 so you can hear me speaking a bit quicker, get through the video a bit quicker, and obviously you can watch it as many times as you'd like to let the information sink in. So, headphones in, lock in, let's go. Now to be clear, I won't be talking about personal trading accounts and tax on that. This video is going to be purely focused on FTMO and the tax surrounding that, because that is what's been requested the most. I will be making a separate video on tax for personal accounts as well, and obviously bear in mind that this will be for the UK legislation system, but for anybody that are watching around the world, obviously there's probably some similarities. Now, the first question is, do you pay tax on FTMO payouts? The answer is an absolute yes. Now first off, the thing that you need to remember about FTMO that most people seem to forget is the fact that the difference between this and your personal trading account is that your personal trading account is your own money, and you are usually taxed depending on what instrument you use based on your starting amount and how much profit you've made thereon. And due to be you risking your own money, that makes it in a slightly different tax bracket as to what FTMO would be taxed at. Now, FTMO technically provides you with an account, and you provide the service to try and grow that account to make more profit, and then obviously you take a split of the profits. Now, in reality, they don't give you a live funded account. They usually set you up on some form of demo, so they mirror the trades on their own brokers, so you haven't got direct link to their capital, but that's by the by. But whichever way you want to look at it, you do invoice them at the end of each month to take a cut of the profits that you have made. So you take 70, they take 30. So because of this invoicing system, you are seen as self-employed to the tax man, and this is no different than if you were to provide any service to anybody really, like cleaning or building or whatever. So you have two options here. Now you can trade as a sole trader, i.e. as an individual, or you can set up a limited company and trade that way. And in this video, I'm just going to focus on you as an individual, because this applies to most people that are starting out, or at least starting to get their first FTMO account and whatnot. But in the next video, I will be covering the option of the limited company and all the pros and cons that come with that. Now, if like a lot of people, you've already got a job and you're using FTMO as additional income, you will need to register for self-assessment, because you will need to declare any profits that you get, and you'll have to pay your tax and national insurance on that. And if you are using it as your only income and you don't have a separate job, you will still need to register as self-employed, because you'll still need to run your self-assessment at the end of each year. So go onto the Gov site and make sure you're doing that, just to make sure that you're compliant and that you're not going to get stung with a tax bill. So I'm going to break down two examples. One of them is going to be somebody that's currently in a full-time job and being paid, and they're trying to do FTMO on the side. And the second example will be somebody that's decided to take FTMO as their sole income, and that will be their job. So option one is that you've got a salaried job, a normal job, let's say, and you're trying to make some FTMO profits on the side. Now your overall tax liability will be dependent on how much you're actually earning in that normal job. So the income tax thresholds in the UK are that you pay 0% on the first £12,500 that you earn, and then you pay 20% on anything between £12,500 and £50,000 for the basic rate tax, and then you pay 40% on anything between £50,000 and £150,000 for the higher rate tax, and then from £150,000 plus you pay 45% for upper rate tax, or whatever it's called. So for this example, let's say that you earn £30,000 in your normal job salary, and you've made £70,000 in FTMO payouts. So that's payouts, not just profit that you make on the account, but what you actually get once you've invoiced them. Now you will be paying tax and national insurance at your job as normal, but you will need to register for self-assessment as we've discussed, so as you can declare all of the FTMO earnings. So essentially, I'm not going to give you exact figures here, but this will give you an idea of how you can break down your FTMO taxes, and obviously it will stem down to how much falls into what threshold of tax. Okay, so let's work it out. So you've already earned 30,000 in your normal job. Now that leaves 20,000 left in the threshold up to 50,000, which is the basic rate 20% tax. So the 20k of your FTMO earnings will be taxed at the basic rate, which is 20%, so therefore you'll be paying £4,000. Then the remaining 50k will be taxed at the higher rate tax, which is 40%, so therefore that would be 20k. So overall, that would be 24k in income tax that you owe on the FTMO profits. So this would leave you with 46k from the initial 70 after you've paid your income tax, but as it's self-employed income and seen as profit, you will also need to pay national insurance on this too. Now there is class 2 and class 4 national insurance, and if your profit outweighs about £6,500, I'll show a screenshot here, then you have to pay a flat rate of £3.05 per week for the year. This in itself works out to £158.60. And then if you receive more than £9,500 in profits, then you fall into class 4. And in this example, you pay 9% on anything between between 9,000 and 50,000 that you make from self-employment profits. Anything exceeding the 50k, you only pay 2% in national insurance. So in this example, you have the £158.60, which is the flat rate. And then you have the 9% on the amount between 9,000 and 50,000, and this equates to about £3,645. And then you pay 2% on anything over the 50k, and in this case you earn 70k with FTMO, so that's 20k difference. So the 2% on that would equate to about £400. So your total national insurance bill will be around £4,200. Okay, so in short, if we take a look back at it, from your 70k earnings on FTMO, you'd pay 20k in income tax and 4.2k in national insurance, so that gives you a total deduction of around £24,200 from the initial 70k. And so this leaves you with a rough take amount of £45,800 after all taxes and national insurance. So in this example, your overall reduction would be around 35%. Okay, so now let's move on to the fact that you decided to take it on as your full-time job as an individual, so you will be registering for self-employment. So let's see how your tax and national insurance would break down based on that scenario. So we're going to use exactly the same parameters as we did before. So we're going to use the 70k FTMO profit so we can compare it like for like, and then we're going to break down the example of how much you would pay and what categories what would fall into. Now, so far as income tax is concerned, obviously we've got the 0% up to 12.5, we've got the 20% between 12,500 to 50,000, the 40% between 50,000 and 150,000, and then 45% on 150,000 plus. So if the 70,000, you get the first 12,500 tax exempt, so you pay 0%, and then between 12,500 to the 50,000, you would pay 20% as a basic rate tax. The difference between 12,500 and 50,000 is 37,500, and that's what we'll be applying the 20% rate tax to. So overall, that would equate to about £7,500. Then of course you've got to pay the high rate tax for anything between 50k and 150k, and we only went 20k into this bracket because obviously you only earned 70 overall. So you're going to pay 40% on that 20k, which equates to about 8,000. So overall your income tax bill will be around 15.5 grand overall. And your national insurance bill will be pretty much the same as the last one because it's based on those profits themselves, so that sits at around £4,200. So it gives you an overall deduction of around £19,700, which is around sort of a 26 to 27% reduction overall. Now, no matter which of these situations, obviously you can expense against any of your profits, so if you're buying equipment or if you've got subscriptions or anything like that, I'm not going to be running into any of that because it overcomplicates what I'm trying to demonstrate, and this is just a basic example of what you could expect in terms of tax liabilities. So to summarise and to simplify it even more, if you're working a job that you're being paid between 30 to 60k a year and you're earning 70k in FTMO profits overall, your rough deductions from the FTMO profits are going to be between 35 to 40%. And if you're purely self-employed and just using FTMO as your job and you're earning between 70k and 100k, then your rough deduction is going to be between 25% to 30%. And as discussed at the start, if you're going to go down any of these options, you will need to run a self-assessment in both scenarios, but one, you will need to register for self-employment as well, and that is if you're just using FTMO as your main job in the UK. Now, of course, this is where you get your accountant to run your returns, to give you a bit more advice, to refine the figures, to be able to tell you where you can expense, where you can maybe get some more tax efficiency along the way. But I hope that this video has given you some value so that you can actually take some stuff away yourself, so as you've got some understanding of what's actually going on rather than just handing your faith over to an accountant and just hoping for the best. My biggest thing here isn't to say not get an accountant, my biggest thing here is to say get one, but just to say why to get one and some context around it. And also think that if you're going to go into the FTMO racket and whatnot, then you need to make sure that you know how much you're actually going to take home, because it's very easy, because when you invoice, you get paid the money within days of the invoice with FTMO. So if you aren't subject to putting your money and partitioning it correctly so as you save it for tax, because that won't be need to pay until the next year, then you're really going to run yourself into some difficulty, and this is how people get those massive tax bills and massive fines. So hopefully this has provided that value, and if you've got any comments, then I really do welcome them below. Now, I hope overall you've enjoyed the video. I know tax isn't the most riveting topic, but I know there's not a huge amount out there, but I hope it's given you a breakdown in terms of what you can expect to pay in the scenario of when you're working a job and trying to do FTMO, or if you're just doing FTMO on its own. So if you are enjoying the content, as always, I really appreciate it. It does help me a great deal if you smash that like button, if you hit the subscribe button, and also click on the alert so you don't miss the next one that I'm going to post. Now, speaking of which, in the next one, we did explain earlier that there was a second option in terms of setting up as a limited company for tax, and I will be running through that in the next video to go through the pros and cons and some things and trying to compare them also to if you set up as an individual. If you've got any thoughts and questions, as I just said, stick them in the comments below, or head across to my Instagram at @MattToMillion. I try and answer all of the DMs throughout the week, so make sure that you do get across, and if you do have anything, I do try and give the time to respond to you. But if I don't speak to you before, have a great week, and I'll catch you on the next one.